This video, I'm going to give you your feedback on the third chapter discussion question, where I asked which groups supported or opposed ratification of the Constitution. I didn't mean so much the Federalists and Anti-Federalists, although clearly those groups did. The Federalists defined themselves in support of it, the Anti-Federalists organized against it. One of the key issues which we'll address next week is the Bill of Rights. The federal supporters feeling there was no need for a Bill of Rights. They thought that if you spelled out in black and white what people's rights were, the danger was the government could say, well, those rights that are not stated are not going to be considered. Whereas the Anti-Federalists wanted explicit statement of rights. The Anti-Federalists eventually won out. After the Constitution was ratified, they successfully passed 10 amendments, which were the Bill of Rights. What I was more interested in was which groups in society, which social or economic groups. While the book argues there's no clear and simple one answer to this, we can see some general trends. The merchants and artisans, that is the producers, the people producing manufactured goods in their workshops, tended to support the Constitution. They wanted a stronger federal government to look after the economic interests of the United States. They remembered the chaos, for example, caused by paper currency and being unable to tax the states. Likewise, many former officers in Washington's army supported a strong federal government. They didn't want a repeat of the situation where the army was going unpaid. Groups on the frontier who feared attack by Native Americans, again, tended to support a strong government for fairly obvious reasons. The groups opposing were groups such as farmers who were not directly tied into international trade. This is a cat, in case you're wondering what's going on here. This is one of my cats who loves to have attention paid to him when someone's at this table. So people who are less directly dependent upon trade and manufacture, or more dependent upon farming, were often against the Constitution. This prefigures the divide in the early years of the Republic between people like Hamilton, who wanted a strong bank, wanted a strong financial sector to support trade, and people like Jefferson, who believed in a republic based on the agrarian interest, based on the interest of the farmers. One calculation that's mentioned in the book, again, cat problems, stresses that the further people were away from the coast or from lines of trade along rivers, the less likely they were to support the Constitution. They didn't see an economic interest in trade. So again, this supports the idea that the farmers and the people in the back country were against, and the merchants and artisans were for the Constitution. Also, slave owners, the plantation owners of the South, feared that, as we saw with the Patrick Henry source discussion, feared that a strong federal government could take away slavery and attack their social and economic interests.